Hi, my name is Fritz Anders and welcome to a very snowy Colorado. I teach K through 5 music here in Colorado, and I've been an exclusive Dalcroze teacher since the mid-90s when I received my certification from the Juilliard School. It's so nice to be with you all today. I'm very happy to be a part of the American Eurhythmics Society. If you just find your C around your belly button, and we'll probably go up to G, a little bit above your head. If you register each note, and let's keep an open hand. We'll save the Kerwin signs for another day. Ready, set, and here you go. C, D, F, G, G, F, E, D, C. That was beautiful. Now let's put an accent on E going up and an accent on E going down. A dynamic accent. Dalcroze called those violent interruptions. So we want the contraction in the muscles. Ready, set, and here you go. C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C. The wonderful Le Sacre Breton is all about accents. Stravinsky built that whole thing on that. And if you would look right here on the floor, I have a little scale already set up. And I do this with my students all the time. So it's your C, D, E, F, G. We're gonna jump with both feet on the accent. If you don't have hoops at home right now, just put some space out and use that. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C. Now let's put it on E going up and F coming down. Ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C. And so we go up and down that. And then I might have the kids take dictation. I would play on the piano the same scale, but I would put an accent in and they have to figure it out. So here's the pattern. Please listen. So you would sing that now and move it. Ready, set, and here you go. C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C. And then if you want to even make it more fun, you could do a continuous canon. So I'm going to play. You start when I start coming back down. Ready, set, and here I go. Go. Accents are just such a great way to teach music, and they often lead to meter, because you get into the crucis, the metacrucis, and the anacrucis. But for right now, I would like to speak just a little about the dynamic accent. That's what we're working mostly with the Stravinsky piece. I've put hoops out on the floor, and so I like to put the accents, and you jump in. And then that causes the whole body to have that wonderful violent contraction that Dalcroze was talking about. But you can improvise at the piano. In the clip I'll show you the students, I'm improvising. So the accent's in. The Stravinsky is a little tough, so I would go through the piano first and improvise your own, and then build up to the Stravinsky. The Stravinsky's just wonderful. I put the eighth notes between. And here you go. Between. And then 2 clicks up there above. And you can keep on doing that. The kids love it. And that actually meets a neat little program piece.
I got that on video. I got that collision on video.
Using a ball is a wonderful way to do an accent. So we start out usually, and we talk about PE, that we're in music, and so I'm worried about the body and rhythm. Rhythm comes from the Greek word rhythmos, which means flow or river. And Dalcroze was very specific about using that in the name of his approach. So I start with our feet out, and then you're gonna bend your knees. I'm really stressing that catch. Bounce, catch, bounce, catch. And we wanna play that really clear if you're improvising. It's bounce, catch, that very nice, boom, crisp catch. And that'll elicit wonderful movement. Also, you're gonna get things like this in one hand in the basketball. And you want to try to avoid that. If you can have that clear catch from the beginning, it saves so many troubles later. So we start with both feet apart, and we're bending our knees, bounce, catch, bounce, catch. And then you'll do the hand you write with, and then the hand you don't write with. We'll also practice toss, catch, and that's difficult when the knees go down and the hands go up. And the ball goes up, excuse me. So one of the things with hoops is really fun to do. If you'll bounce, catch around the hoops, but if you hear an accent, boom, quick reaction, you're going to go right inside or follow right inside the hoop. So it'd be bounce, catch, bounce, catch, bounce, catch, bounce, and bounce, catch, bounce, catch, bounce, 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 catch, bounce, catch, bounce. And then you can reverse it, and now it gets tough. You have to stay inside the hoop, and the ball goes out. So it would be bounce, catch, bounce, catch, bounce, catch, bounce, catch, boom! Bounce, catch, bounce, catch. And you can see that's a little bit more tricky. The kids will also have to use a big fancy word that we all use and we don't know about. It's called kinesthesia. Kines, movement, aesthesia, awareness of. So this is what we use when we can talk down the hall to two people and not bump into the wall. You're aware of music, sometimes it's subconsciously, but now when you start doing this, and if you give commands like go backwards and forwards and sideways, and then add the accents, oh my, those whole frontal lobes are just exploding. Another wonderful trick to do with two people, and this is hard in a pandemic, of course, when we all have our vaccine, we can bounce to each other. And that would make it wonderful. But another nice little trick is just to follow the music. Da, 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 da. Boom, and when you hear an accent, you roll it, and the other person locks it. Boom, and sends it right back to them. And that can be a lot of fun. Also, when you have little ones, you can use cars. And they drive their cars, da 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 da, boom, on the accent, and you'll see them release their arms. And that's what we're looking for, are those contractions of the arms. I think sometimes it's lost that Dalcroze, and this is very unique to it, it's a pre-performance approach. The goal is to have 6 or 7 years of intense eurythmic training before you even touch an instrument. So then all you really have to worry about are your fingers. You have that wealth of knowledge and all that musical ability before you touch an instrument. Here are some examples of two ball activities. The next activity uses a chair, and if you've got one handy, that would be fantastic. Now, if you have partners, and I'll show you an example of that in a little bit with children, this is what this is really designed for. But when I was teaching remote, we had to use a chair. What you're going to do is you're just going to walk with the music. When you hear an accent, boom! You want to fill that negative space. I talked to the children about art. In Western art, traditionally, you might have a house in the middle of the painting. In Eastern art, and your exposure mostly to that's going to a good Chinese restaurant or a good Asian restaurant, you'll see the house over here in a giant painting and a tree over here. And in the middle, we have usually negative space. those are beautiful, sublime works. So that's what we're using, negative space. You're making something sharp, boom, sharp, and you want wonderful shapes. I also talk, you'll find them being one-dimensional, just standing. I also talk about using high space, medium space, and low space, and to vary your space when you use it. So you would just walk around the piano with the music, bum, 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 and you really want that body to explode. So if you've got a chair handy while I've been talking, if you would just follow and see if you can make those sharp motions. You don't want this. And sometimes you'll get that. And when I'm looking, and I'll say, pause, I want to be able to touch those muscles, to be able to do a little poke. And if the muscle moves, we don't have tension. And accents are all about tensions. Nobody wants a weak accent. Ready, set, and here you march. Now try to use different space. Now try to go low. Now try medium on this space. Now you're going to try to go high. And when you're improvising, if you start to see tedium build, put a retard in. And then that will work, and then that builds up. It keeps all that in the frontal lobe. What we don't want is inertia, and that's when people are going boom, boom, boom. Sometimes I watch symphonies perform or something on YouTube, and they're all like this. And I know the conductor has stayed in the same tempo all the time and hasn't varied it. When you vary it just a little bit, you get those ears. Oh, and if you know composers, that's what they use with the accelerando or retardando, is that makes your, uh-oh, something's going on. Here's something interesting. Here's an example of negative space with students. Dalcroze was really wonderful in stressing that students should be the leader. So you'll see in the next video, I'll have a student conductor. I gave them all a bell, and I didn't have enough really to make that wonderful Stravinsky chord. So I did my best, but when they have a bell, I had them play soft by cupping, and then when the accent happened, and you'll see them try. Also, if you don't have bells for a student conductor, and I really trained them on, boom, try to give that big one. You can also use a drum. So I tell them, we want to play piano with maybe one finger or two. And then the accent would be 4. And we talk all about the hot stove and the lower brain that makes you pull it off, and like you touch it and it just pulls back. So you can have that, and you can have 2 students make a dance. And I say, I need to at least see 3 accents in the other student dance, and I want to see that movement. And then, of course, they would get their drum. Pre-COVID, we would just switch drums and all that. And then after you have the drum, then we might go to the board, and we'll put that down. But here are some examples of student conducting. One of the wonderful things about Dalcroze that I love is teaching through different modalities. Sing, move, play, read, write, act. You can even have them act a little scene. I might give them this music. And they'd have to go. And maybe it's a camper. And then there's Bigfoot jumps out at the end of him. I give them that chance to make up the scene. So using the theatrical arts and imagination with the music. And then I have to make a total another scene and another one. Creativity can be taught. We just have to give it to them and give them many opportunities. Another wonderful way to approach Dalcroze is also through the written word, through language. So this goes in. I just found a kind of a grumpy poem, Mr. Grump, and it worked with accents. So I would have them first say it all together, and the underlined word would be an accent. Oh, Mr. Grump, again, I C, and who invited him to tea? And so I'm really looking for that voice, him. And we have to talk about, and you'll get this, loud is not ugly. You still want to keep it pretty, but keep it loud. And you can go, and then there's so many variations. We could only accent the words that begin with a vowel, only the words that end with a consonant, only the words that begin with a vowel and a consonant if you really want to get tricky stuff. And that's a wonderful way to use poetry. There's also, when you're doing something really active, bring them down. After maybe doing a plastique or something, give them a little poetry to work. You still got that engagement, but now it's in a different modality and it gives the body a little chance to rest. I absolutely love to use play and imagination. I believe those are a child's work, and I take that very seriously. So before the children even come into the classroom, I start the lesson outside. And instead of talking, like it's very popular now to say, today's class, we're going to learn this and this and this and this. Well, children often don't have the schema, which I'm using that in the clinical sense, patterns of behavior or thought. They don't have the schema for that. We need to give that to them. And then I think that robs children of exploration and discovery, which isn't appropriate. In Dalcroze, we always believe feeling before thought, exploration and experience before definition. So when adults like it the other way, we want to have it defined and then experience it. Not with children, it's reverse. Let them experience it and then define it, and then they own it. So when the children come in, they might be a T-Rex. And if they hear an accent, they might jump and prance on their prey. Or they could be a penguin. And when they hear da-da-da-da-da, and then they can jump on a piece of ice on an accent. Or maybe a galloping donkey, and when they hear an accent, yee-haw! Have to be careful on that one, but so much fun. And that's how we start the lesson, and then we usually go into a song. Now, I want you to be very clear and passionate on 3 superheroes. Maybe let's see, Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man. Try to get that into a pattern that you can do, or Aquaman, swim. You just want to be very clear, because with music and all the arts, you should never ever fail in clarity or passion. And we should always, your audience should always be able to guess and tell what you're doing. That's very clear communication, and it's musical. So if you would try to be a superhero for me, and when an accent plays, switch to another one. Now if you can keep it in 3, let's just say a pattern. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Batman. Or Spider-Man. Just keep 3 and then repeat them. Your mind starts to think ahead, which are very powerful and useful skills with Dalcroze. And once they get comfortable, you can put the accents a little closer together. Really comfortable. And then really have them do the accents. That gives them all over the place. And then that prepares you for Stravinsky for that wonderful famous part that we can work on with accents. And you can make a plastique out of that. And that's so much fun. Have one person do an accent, and then the next person would copy, and when the next person's copying, they're doing another accent, a Wonder Woman or a Spider-Man, and then you go down the line. That is so much fun to do in a canon. And then you say switch, and then they have to go the other way. Oh, now that is such a great time. What I'd like to do now are your die chords. If we can remember, we're gonna have do, re, mi, fa, so. We'll just go up to the so, from do to so. If you notice, I showed the half steps here with my fingers. Let's all try it together. Ready? And let's put a little emphasis on the first one. Do, re, mi, fa, so. So, fa, mi, re, do. And then when you get on, the species 1, species 2, species 3, that's a whole nother unit of studies, and then you can get into tetrachords and all sorts of fun stuff. But right now, we're just gonna do do, re, mi. So what's gonna happen, the first, species 1, do, re, mi, or the first trichord, you're going to just walk carrying a heavy box. And when you hear do, re, mi, we're gonna pick that heavy box up. And I'm looking for tension in the arms. Sometimes I'll say pause, and I'll come by and I'll actually press their arm. And if I can move the arm, then they don't have tension. If you study dance, that's what you want, is that tension. That gives you that roundedness. And sometimes musicians, we lack that. No, you want tension. The Laban efforts are a fantastic thing to study. If you haven't, they'll show you all the tension. So what I would like you to do is just walk around, carry the heavy box, and when the music stops, do, re, mi, pick up the heavy box, and then we'll be re, mi, fa, and then mi, fa, so. Ready, set, carry the heavy box, go. Oh, that box is heavy. Heavy, here comes. And do, re, mi. Now it's gonna be re, mi, fa. You got it. Now it's gonna be mi, fa, so. Yes. Now, as you carry that heavy box, can you go down? So, fa, mi. Ready, go. So you're gonna pull it down. Ready, fa, mi, so. I mean, fa, mi, re. Get ready for mi, re, do. Wonderful job. So you're having that wonderful heaviness, filling that up. Now, that is absolutely fantastic. When we start to take that out, when we're starting to read music, I love to use the one-line staff, and that can talk about weight too. So right up here, I would process this through by just saying, skate, skate, tippy-toe skate, gallop, 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 skate, skate, tippy-toe skate, and we would do it backwards. Skate, tippy-toe skate, skate, and then lup gal, and all that kind of wonderful things. And those all have wonderful names like trochaic and archaic and all that, and that's a whole nother thing. After we've done that, then I would usually have them also gesture. I would have them, just as I said, they would show their hands so they can show up and down. Then they could show their body on their knees. I don't do this very much because they get very tired. But if it's on the line here, up above, on the line. And then they would show me, and we would do that in rhythm. G-A. And then I would add them, still speaking. We have not added pitch yet. I would add them G-A, G-G-G-A, G-G-A, A-G, A-G-A. And we would do that. And then finally, we would add the pitch. So, you have G-A, G-G-G-A, G-G-A, A-G, 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 A, G-G-G-G. And then I would usually have one student say, hey, which one do we want to accent? And they might point to that one. Oh, that means a dot. And I would say, oh, okay, we'll put the accent there. So we would put the accent up there, and then have to sing G-A, G-G-G-A, G-G-A. And I might have the kids sing the accent. And it's very nice because you'll get loud, and loud is not ugly. I still want to hear an accent, and I want it to be beautiful. So you can play that game. You can divide the class in half. You sing everything. You sing all the notes. You sing all the accented notes. So we would do. And then one half would sing the accented notes. The one-line staff is wonderful. I deal with just 2 pitches. Then I might add in an F sharp later. Or if we want to say in the key of C, we might could just do an F. It's nice to do them, and you can put flats in and all that. And then after that, then I would start adding the other lines. But usually a one-line staff. Dalcroze did speak about it, and it's really nice. Now, would you just show me the whole? Would you just have your fingers, 2 fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Would you do that as I play the quarter notes? Ready, set, and here you go. Wonderful. Now, so you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'm I'm going to play the whole, and then you'll be the 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Ready, set, and here I go, and 2, 4, 2, 3, 4. Wonderful. Little debussy there. I'm going to switch before. If you would do the 2, 3, 4, I'll start with the whole. You do 2, 3, 4. Ready, set, and when I say switch, you take over the whole and I'll do the 2, 3, 4. So here I've got the whole, I've got the 2, 3, 4. Ready, set, and here you go. 1. Switch. Switch. So that's a simple replacement, and you can do it with dotted half notes, which would give 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. You can do it half. So 1, 2. And that really gives you the feel, and you can see how wonderfully children can be musically with this. Okay, one person be the 4, 2, 3, 4. The other one, 2, 3, 4. Ready, set, here we go. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, so once 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Ready, set, and 3, and go now. 1, 2, 2, 3. Switch. I owe my dear friend Dr. Jacoby, who she allows me to teach at CSU, she's the lead professor, for these ideas of using feathers. They are fantastic. You can get them at a craft store. I like the ones that are kind of beat up. They float better. So what's going to happen is you'll just walk the crotchet, the music, and then when I call out a number, would you just throw the feather up? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, bum, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ready, set, and here you go. 4. Doing Stravinsky. That's called the Spring Round Dance. That's about rehearsal 48, and I included the score in there. So I improvised a little bit before and then stuck Stravinsky in. That makes a nice plastique. You get to divide the class into 2 parts and have them move across. And on the longer durations, especially after they get in their ear, and I introduce it by calling the numbers, and then you can put it. Here's an example of that. So weight in music is an absolutely fantastic way to teach, and the 3 Little Pigs is a great way to teach that. And so you can have everybody be the little bitty pig, and the little bitty pig got an idea, and he decided to go build his house out of straw. So he goes running off to the forest, to the field. He takes his scissors, and he cuts the straw. He runs back home. He builds has such a nice little house. The next little piggy gets an idea, and he wants to build his house out of sticks, so he takes a walk. He takes out a saw. He saws. A little bit heavier there, isn't he? He puts them in his backpack, and he walks back home. Next big piggy, he decides to go to Home Depot, so he walks heavy. He picks all his bricks up and he walks back home. Oh, it's heavy, tricky. And he goes brick, mortar, brick, mortar, brick. That. Well, out of the forest comes the big bad wolf, and he goes sneak, 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 step, step. Would you try that for me? Sneak, 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 step, step. And he says, little pig, let me in. Would you try that for me in your big bad wolf voice? Little pig, let me in. And the little pig says, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Very light. Ready, go. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And he says, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he breathes in deep. I don't like to do this during the Rona. And then he blows. But that's far away. Anyway, so that would be a heavy blow all the way through. And then says that to the little straw house. And that little piggy runs really light on his little feet back over to the wood house. So he gets there. And that mean old wolf goes step, 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 stomp, stomp, ready, go. Step, 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 step. And he says, little pig, let me in. And that little piggy says, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. And that mean old wolf says, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he breathes in deep and it's heavy. Oh my goodness, well, both piggies, they go walking over, ready, back over to the big piggy's house. A little heavier. And that wolf, you know how he goes. Sneak, 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 stomp, stomp. And he says, little pig, let me in. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he breathes in deep. He gets an idea. He sneaks and he sits down on the chimney. And all of a sudden he sniffs. Smells like pants burning. He sniffs more. His sitter feels like it's on fire. He slowly gets up. He looks at his sitter. Oh, he's on fire, and off he goes. So we used all sorts of different weights in that story. You had the little pig that was very light, and when he's saying, little pig, that's very light, and the big old bad wolf. So you're introducing weight there through a wonderful, wonderful little story. Okay, would you do 3 movements with me? The first one, you're just going to walk, and when you hear a long note, turn the body. And your body's going to only want to turn one way, whatever fits out in front. And you just slip it around that way. So that's your first movement. The second movement is so simple. You're just going to drop, pull, 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 and drop. Pull, 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 and drop. So that's number 2. And then the third one is where you're going to hear little 8th notes. Boom, boom, boom. You can just turn for me. So 3 movements. Walk when you hear a long note, turn, drops, and then turn. Here you go. Let's try it. Follow me. There it is. There it is. You ready to drop? And if we were with a class, I usually do that 3 times with them. And then after I do that, I stand back, put my hands in my pocket, and I say, show me what we just did. So they would have the 3 movements. They would have the walk, turn on the long notes, and they can practice and they get in there. You're so quick, these 2 pieces, this little piece is so wonderful to use. And then they can show me with the full and then the turns. So after we do that, on the 3rd time, I would say for the 3rd section, I would say, now you know the music, you may not use my ideas. You can come up with your absolute own ideas. Give me something creative. You can work with groups, you can work with somebody, but I need to see the long notes and the walking, the long notes or whatever you want to do. Roll on the floor, lift up on the long notes, come up with something. Or I need you to try anything, space with another person, height, taking turns for the 3 different sections of the turning and all that. There's so many possibilities you can give them. And if you do get the child, I don't know, and I usually show this beforehand, I would say, name your body part. They'd say arm. Boom, boom. So you walk, and then when you hear the long note, swing the arm around. Not the most creative, but you're using one thing. And you could also use the chest, boom, boom, and on the long note, turn around. So you want to give all those creative choices, and I just give little snippets because I really want them to have the creativity. And that's somehow I develop a plastique. After you do that a couple of times, they make a wonderful thing to put onto your programs. It has been such a pleasure being with you today, and I look forward to your questions. 3, 2, 1.